Hi everyone, as usual I'm beginning the week with a video that's going to help you set up your work during the week. As you all know, we are in the second week already and we are beginning to deal with the process of writing essays. As the first thing I recommended that you should do, you need to open the planner of the week and then get acquainted with what you have to read. In this second week, you have to read one chapter from Andrew Lanford's book, Everyone's an Author, Writing Processes, on pages 75 through 103, and you have to continue reading the material from the learning, the language corner. In this case, we are going to continue with the exercises and how to write good sentences. This material is going to help you do the self-assessment exercises online. This second week, you're beginning with the quizzes, as I mentioned in the first week and in the video conference. These are not real quizzes. These are exercises that you have the possibility of taking multiple attempts. So it's important that you don't settle for the score that you get the first time, but you keep on trying. In that case, you can improve your grade. We will also have the first partial test, which is scheduled for Friday, the 26th, from 4 p.m. until 23:55. So it's open for almost 6 hours, but you only have one attempt. In this case, this is a real partial test. This is not one of the quizzes that you have the possibility of taking multiple attempts. So in the second week also you have the self-assessments 1, 2, and 3, the writing process, word phrases and redundancies, and using appropriate words. And then you have to submit the first qualitative self-assessment, something that I explained already in the first week. In the qualitative self-assessment, you have to make a cross-section of what you have studied up to this moment, considering the material that you read, the exercises you've done, and you're going to tell me about your experience. I gave you, after the first video conference, a document explaining what the self-assessments are. In this second week, but before I get into the second week learning object, I would like to go back to the first week. I'm going to remind you of something important. In this case, in the learning object of the first week, by the way, I was disappointed to see that many students in the class waited until the very last minute to open the learning object, and you should have done this early in the week. But in any case, I'm going to record the second video explaining something very important for you. In the learning object of the first week, I want you to focus your attention on something that's important. And here on page 3, you have the importance of reading rhetorically, and you have a concept, a notion that you're going to be using in all your writing assignments that are to come. By the way, I'm going to be releasing the topic on the 25th, after you have submitted the first writing assignment, the personal narrative. So here on page 3, I explain the importance of reading rhetorically and the annotated critical reading. Text annotation is something that you will have to do all along the semester, and also that you have to provide evidence in the portfolio at the end. Here on page 3, I explained what annotating a text means, and also together with this recording, I'm going to be sending you the link to a video that I have over here by the name of Annotated Critical Reading, and I'm going to show you only what you're going to find in this video, Annotated Critical Reading. So I'm going to be sharing this link with you together with the recording that you are watching now. But going back to the second week, I think it's important that you pay attention to a couple of notions here. In the first place, as I said, you check the planner, you download the planner to your computers, and then keep an eye on your responsibilities. And then, before reading the chapter from Andrew Lanford, you need to watch and read the contents of the learning object. Here you have a video presented by Professor Mark Pudvin from the university, and you have an introduction to the process of writing essays, from general to specific, from pre-writing, from annotated critical reading, going back to what you saw in week 1, using pre-writing techniques to generate ideas, pre-writing techniques to organize your ideas, and you have examples here. This is an example of one cluster beginning from a simple topic and branching out into many different directions. This is a typical pre-writing technique. Remember that you have to submit 2 samples of pre-writing at some point. And you have here one chapter from John Langan's book, College Writing Skills with Readings, and you have a very clear definition of all pre-writing techniques. You may want to read these before you go ahead and read Andrew Lanford's text, which is very useful as well and would give you additional material. After you have covered all this, you need to continue with the learning object. You need to go to in one part here in the learning object, which is composing the text. You have an introduction to writing the perfect introduction. This is a great example. This is a video that you're going to enjoy, and you're going to be getting in touch with a concept that is called the funnel approach. It's important you read this now, that you watch the complete resource, because it's going to be very useful. In another part of this resource, you have a section devoted to proofreading and revision and edition of your essays. Then on page 6 of the resource, you have a guide to writing a good thesis. You won't find this information in Andrew Lanford's book. This is the material that you need to study for the first partial test. Here you have the pattern of the thesis statement, the difference between thesis statement for an analytical essay, an argumentative essay, a narrative essay. So it's crucial that you come and study this information early in the week. Then on page 7, you have more information about what I mentioned: the analytical thesis, the expository thesis, the argumentative thesis, and then a very clear video on thesis statements. Then on page 8 of the learning object, the blueprint in the thesis statement, and then another video with an introduction to the 5-paragraph essay. After you have read all this information, you have watched all these videos, I want you to send me a notification email just telling me that you watched the video and everything is fine with you. On page 9, you have a section dedicated to the role of collaboration, something that you'll do in week 6 and 7 of the course. So this is what you have your first encounter with the second week. After you have read and studied this information, you need to go to Andrew Lanford's book and study the pages that I mentioned here in the planner. The writing process, on pages 75 through 103. It's important that you watched another video that I'm going to be recording for you. It's not going to be a nice video. I'm going to name it Policing the Class. I'm going to be explaining something very important. A very important feature that D2L offers is a feature that we teachers use and would let us know when you have accessed and read the material that's online for you. So I'm going to be just 5 minutes, but it's important you watch that second video too. So please don't hesitate to contact me if you feel that you want some more clarification for the week. But everything's here in the planner and also in the learning object and in the chapter from Andrew Dunford.